Good evening, everyone. Today we got a project to change the bed knife on my 20-inch Mclane. Don't know how big of a project this is, don't know if it's easy, don't know if it's hard, but we're going to get into it, see what we can learn together, and let's take a look at it. So here's the unit. Picked this thing up. It was in a pretty much junk pile about an hour away from me a couple years ago. It's really what got me into real mowing, and it needs a bed knife. And the reason I say that is if you get into underneath where the actual bed knife makes contact with the reel, there's like an indent where the previous owner, or maybe even me to an extent, over backlapped this machine and actually caused an indentation into the reel. And I think that's a pitfall a lot of people fall into, thinking that root mowers need backlapped all the time. And the truth is I sharpen once at the beginning of the season. I pay a local John Deere dealership to do that. You can get the winter hours get a little cheaper, and then I backlap once a year. So I know last time I got this one sharpened, they told me that would probably be the last one for the bed knife because it was running out of meat. As you see on the end here, you can, each time you backlap it or you sharpen it, you lose a little bit, and you can end up being in the wrong spot in the blade and not making good contact. So that's why we're going to change it today. So first thing we're going to do is I don't know if it's necessary or not, but it'll make it a little bit easier for me to film this and work on it and show you guys some stuff. So I'm going to just take my front roller off here. It's a real roller that you can get online. I think it's aftermarket. It helps a little bit with a little less than even lobs up. Just going to take the bolts off each side. That'll slide out, rod will slide out of that. And take the spring off and the nut off there. And all this will pull off. I think, hoping it won't be too bad. Hoping we get this bar out of our way, we can loosen up the reel and maybe just be a few bolts. So let's see what we can learn. First thing is getting this guy taken off. All right, so we got that out of the way. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen up this bolt here and make sure you guys can see properly. Yep. And this bolt here, and that's actually the adjustments for the reel movement itself. And then there's also, same way you would if you have to tighten or loosen for backlapping, there's this bolt and this bolt here. These two allow it to pivot. You see the same thing on this side. It's this bolt and the one in here, so rip that cover off too. Yeah, I see a little modification I made here. At one point I welded a nut onto the sprocket so I could backlap it with a drill attachment. Maybe I'll show a video on that someday. See, he's loose. All right, that should let us move this a little bit. So we're gonna tap these up here. See if we can't just loosen it. Just a little bit off the bed knife. See it moving some. All right. So we're nice and loose there. All right. Well, it's just me and you guys figuring it out from here. So. Since I can't hear your guys' thoughts, so we're going to go with my guess here. And that says when we take this and kind of line it up next to this thing, I'm thinking it bolts in there something like that. So My complete guess right now is we're gonna take these 3 bolts out. And let's see what it looks like on this side. Yep. And these 3. And we'll just see what that gets us. I forget which ones it was already. Apparently that is a rubber washer. Actually, it's not. It's a some kind of metal recessed washer. So we do not want to lose those. We'll remember where we took those off. I'm just going to try to get this one off so it doesn't fall off, and I don't expect it. Well, does not appear to danger of falling off, so we'll leave it alone. Yeah, look at that. Let's see if we can do a bit of a comparison here. See how much finer of an edge that is? Should actually reduce some of the drag on the mower too. All right, got one hole lined up. This time the wood start. Definitely not tightening that, but all right, we got that hole. All right. Looks like everything's going to line up here. So let's go ahead and get our bolts in on the side here with our washers. And then we'll take another look at it. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of gut checking the gap between the knife and this blade. Make sure it makes remote sense. Then I'm gonna tap these down lightly and just make sure we're making decent contact. And we certainly are. All right, man. Well, that's how you replace a bed knife. Now, at this point, I would, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to get this sharpened. So this is going to go off. It's, you know, end of December right now, 2021. So going to call up my John Deere dealer that sharpens these. You get like, I don't know, 25% off for their winter rates because they're not as busy. And I'll take this over there and I'll get it sharpened. That'll mate it real good between the bed knife and the reel. I'm sure you could probably also, if you don't have options around you to get it sharpened, you'd probably be okay just, you know, doing backlapping. So, hey, I think it was just as straightforward as we were hoping. Essentially 3 bolts and slides out and then shove it back in, tighten it down. Didn't need to take that front off. Probably could have got away without it. Might have made it a little bit easier, but I don't know if it was necessary. So there you go. That's how to change the bed knife on your, in this case, this is a 20-inch Mclane. If you got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Appreciate you guys for watching. Have a good one. All right, back with one follow-up tip here. Something I may have done a little bit differently. As you see, a red right there, that's that groove we looked at earlier, right in there. Right there. That's that groove that goes across the bottom. But what I'm seeing now is that this older style is a little bit different. It was longer and thicker in the back. And it slid into these little tab openings that you see throughout here, and that is not the case anymore. So if yours is a newer one, you're probably perfectly okay doing absolutely nothing. I'm not going to do anything. I think it's perfectly fine for my purposes too. I think only maybe you get some grass underneath. I don't see any issues with it. But what you could do, now that we've learned some stuff together, is take a small piece of metal or sheet metal, cut out a little piece that's, you know, maybe an inch taller than that back, sit it into that groove, and then when you're putting it in, push that piece of metal into those little openings to guarantee it stays in place. Like I said, I'm not worried about it, but it's something we learned that on the next one maybe I'll do a little bit differently. So take it for what it is. Thanks. Bye.